ladies and gentlemen, this is AjK36 along with
Chromosomes?
we're bringing you Silver to Gold, this ranked situation in SMITE where I play through Silver. It takes me about 6 games, and then I'll do a Gold series to Platinum if that's something you guys are interested in watching.
Absolutely. So just for a little background, when you begin playing rank, right? You said you begin at silver.
Yep, you start at Silver 3.
You start at silver 3, okay. And so you've already progressed from silver 3 to silver 2, from silver 2 to silver 1.
Only reason I started at Silver 2 is because I previously played Ranked, and then when it soft reset, it put me at Silver 2.
Okay.
So I believe naturally everyone starts at Silver 3.
Okay, alright, okay. And then from there we jump up to gold 3, gold 2, gold 1, and so on and so forth.
Yep, and then you go from gold to platinum, platinum to diamond, diamond to master, and then master to grandmaster. And grandmaster is just a group of 40 players throughout the world, and it's just the best, and it constantly kind of changes based on how people progress in the game from masters.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe eventually we'll end up doing a series, from master to grandmaster. Who knows? Why not?
I mean, that's always been the goal, but I've never stuck around with ranked as much as I'd like to.
Right. Well, hopefully now we can
have a reason to.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, doing an entire complete series.
Exactly.
That would be awesome.
Finish it off.
Yeah.
I mean, that would complete my whole SMITE career.
See, there you go.
I mean, once I get to that point, I have nothing else. It's either I get to Grandmasters or I diamond every god.
Right.
Whichever one comes first, I'm fine with.
And right now, how many gods do you still have to diamond?
Keep adding them. I'm at 36.
36?
So I have about 70.
Alright. So we'll go ahead and get you to Grandmaster then. It seems like the quicker avenue.
It's always the quicker avenue that's harder, though.
Of course, it always is.
Right. The split just reset last week, and so I'm trying out my luck to see how fast I can get to hopefully Diamond. Diamond is where I've peaked so far.
And when you mean by last week, that was the July 20th, right?
Yep.
Okay, the July 20th week. Okay.
Yep. The July, yeah, that's when the whole Avatar update came out. So that's when they did a soft reset of all ranked. It was considered the mid-season update.
Okay. Okay, and really here, mainly what we're going to end up doing is AJ is going to end up more or less coaching to me and seeing if I can actually understand the mechanics of this, of how to actually play from silver to gold. So again, for a little bit more background, I'm fairly new to SMITE. I am about as green as you can actually get to this. Now, AJ is a bit more seasoned. How long have you been playing this?
I've been playing for about 5 years. I'm a beta tester on PS4.
Nice.
So
okay.
Whenever the PS4 SMITE came out, I downloaded it that day because I had previously played it on computer for a little bit. At the time, I didn't have a great computer, so I just kind of left it at just a little bit. But it did pique my interest because I was into MOBAs at the time. So, like I said, at my peak, I had hit Diamond. That was when I was trying pretty hard. I got Diamond 1, lost it, and then went to Diamond 2 before the reset. So
you've been up there.
Yeah.
You've been up there. Okay.
At one point and it's in Joust, so it's not as important, but at one point in Joust, I was in top 100.
Okay. Wow.
On PlayStation.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, so I was pretty far up there, but unfortunately, I do get frustrated with this game every once in a while. I feel like most SMITE players do. Well, I mean, I feel like anyone that plays a game long enough,
Yeah,
kind of gets burnt out. It is still probably my favorite game.
yeah.
I mentioned that in my previous interview, but with this game, I mean, it's just hard not. It's hard to leave. I've tried. I've uninstalled it. I think once.
Oh, did you? Wow.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't. I said if I ever uninstall it, I will never reinstall it.
Hmm. All right. So we'll go ahead and keep you current then.
Yeah.
All right. So really, what I'm gonna end up asking AJ all kinds of questions, really regarding why he did certain things, and I really want to get better at this game. I might not be as loyal to this game as AJ is, but I do have a good interest in the game. There's certain aspects of this game that are very, very interesting to me. They play right up my alley, and then there's other things where I am ridiculously weak on. And seeing if I can go ahead and strengthen up my weaknesses and diminish what I don't know. You know, if ignorance is bliss, right now I'm orgasmic because I know next to nothing about the game.
Right. Well, and the good thing is a lot of times you can let your weaknesses hold you back a little bit, as long as you let your strengths pull ahead.
Right.
And I mean, I think the big thing with you is you love strategic. You love strategy.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, and I think this series will kind of let that shine for you in your ability to learn the game. Is there's a lot of strategy that a lot of people take for granted in this game, and I think that's where you'll be able to prevail and understand.
Right. And so, speaking of strategy, one of the things that I noticed that now we were talking about it off camera before is really this first screen. A lot of strategy is actually in this screen of what gods, what roles, and something that I wasn't aware of is who gets banned.
Yep.
So do me a favor, give me a quick little breakdown of how both teams ended up with the bans that they currently have, based on who ended up getting to pick first and all of that good stuff.
Alrighty. So the first two are based off of elo. So on both teams, the first two have the highest elo.
So elo, what do you mean by elo?
So elo is just a number that tells the computer how good you are.
Okay.
That's all it is. It doesn't actually mean anything in game.
Okay.
Other than telling the computer, like, this is how good they're supposed to be. So let's put them first.
Okay. Now, just to clarify the point, when you're doing this, you don't get to pick all of your players first. So walk me through the process of picking your character and banning a character.
All right. So we start off by banning. So we ban 3 gods.
Okay.
And we wanted to pick Afro because my support player asked for Afro.
Okay.
So with being able to strategize beyond that, I was able to ban Baba Yaga because I know she isn't necessarily someone I'm used to playing against. So I don't want to necessarily play her on my first ranked game in the split.
Okay, so you don't want any unneeded surprises.
Yes.
Okay.
And because I don't have to ban Afro because I know I'm picking Afro, I then force them either to ban Afro or allow me to pick Afro first.
Right. Okay.
Because I do have first pick.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is,
and again, first pick, you have first character selection.
Yes, I have first. First god selection.
Okay.
So so how it works is I get first ban and first pick, and they get I believe last ban and last pick.
Okay.
And it ends up being kind of equal in how it works out because last pick is not a bad place to have.
Because then you have what, like 90 other gods that you can go ahead and pick from.
You have 90 other gods, and I mean, other than the fact that me banning Odin in the second wave, I banned Odin. But if they would have picked Odin in the first 3 instead of Nike, that totally negates all of Aphrodite.
Right.
So I mean, and so there are counter picks to everything that is there. So there are gods that anti-heal. So having last pick and being able to see what everyone else on the enemy team has, it helps.
Okay.
I don't.
So now again, you do all of your bands first.
I do 3 bands first.
Okay, so you do 3 bands first. So really, before even you guys get to this screen, having that communication with your teammate as to who they want to play, is super important. Not just the second one, but all of them. You need to know who's playing mid, who they want to play, who's playing support, who they want to play, carry, solo, and jungle.
Yes.
You always want to know who they want to play. That way you can go ahead and start banning their counterpoints.
Yes, and
Okay.
And it's not necessarily always that simple because a lot of the times they don't communicate. A lot of the times they'll say, "Don't ban this. I want to play it."
Okay.
And it won't necessarily be someone that's ban worthy, but it'll be nice to like ensure you don't accidentally ban it because you're not really comfortable with playing them.
Right.
So it's always nice to have it. Like Bakasura right now is a pretty heavily picked jungler, not necessarily banned every time, but it's nice to not want to ban him in your head.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And,
so that makes sense.
Yeah. And so it's nice when they do say it, and a lot of the times you'll see like first pick be like, "All right, I have first pick. Do you want Cthulhu? He's strong right now. If he doesn't get banned by the enemy team, I'll pick him up."
Right. Okay.
Or something in that factor, like Arachne going into the jungle, something like that. Getting someone strong early pick is a huge help, but it also, I mean, there are bans or there are counters to that pick.
Right.
So it has its goodness and it has its badness.
All right. So then, after your character selection here, then once you guys get the selected characters and the selected band, then is this the point where you begin to strategize how you're going to play?
Very much so. Looking at their team, I already know that I need to buy a Divine Ruin for Hades.
All right,
Divine Ruin for Hades, just because he has a big heal and he's focused on his own lifesteal.
Okay.
He has lifesteal within his kit. And then if you're on the enemy team and you're looking at my team, you see Aphrodite and Cupid, you automatically know in your head Divine Ruin's going to be a big thing. Kakalin is going to be thinking about buying a Pestilence or the new armor that I don't remember the name of, but it's an anti-heal item.
Okay.
Same with Afro. She's going to be thinking about possibly buying a Divine Ruin if she's greedy, or an anti-heal defense item.
Okay.
So yeah, you're going to be thinking about those just because there are big healers on both teams. I know for a fact that I need beads.
Right. And beads is pretty much standard, right?
Yeah, honestly,
it's almost like a standard item.
Yeah, I would say if you're a carry or a hunter, you're going to grab beads.
Okay.
You're going to grab beads in Sanctuary almost 90% of the time, especially in your lower elo games. As you get better, you might not need Sanctuary as much and can grab something that's a little bit more flexible within that pick. So you're going to be able to pick up a blink so that you can double blink with a Merlin. Or I love picking up blink with Hades because you can blink and then scare them and they dash, and then now you're able to dash on top of them and they no longer have a dash. Something like that.
Okay.
Where it's just nice to have that extra mobility and flexibility.
All right.
But yeah, with everyone on their team, they all have some sort of stun, except for Shibalake.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, that's more so what I pick up from the enemy team is Divine Ruin and beads.
Okay. Alrighty. So now once the round starts.
So when we go to this screen, we look at more so the experience that each player has with their god.
Right. And this screen is oddly very, very informative, and this is something that I didn't know about before. So why don't you go ahead and take me real quick through a tour of what you see.
So the big thing I see is if they don't have a diamond, they're not necessarily the most experienced, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. What I see though is that Afro and Hades have the most time spent on their gods.
Right.
For each star, it means one extra diamond level.
And by that you mean for each star around the Roman numeral X 10.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my bad. And then my X means that I'm diamond, so I've gotten my god to 10 once. They've gotten their gods at least 7 times.
Right.
For Afro, and I don't even want to count Hades.
Right.
The Cerberus and the Dodgy know what they're doing for the most part on their god. The big thing out of the Cupid and more so the Mercury than anything, is I believe the Mercury is a Smurf. It could or could not be, but the fact that he has a 10 on his avatar, which is to the right of the Roman numeral 1 on his screen, and the other thing that kind of shows me the Cupid one and Mercury at the same time that kind of showed me that they're Smurfs is they don't have a border. I didn't even notice that when we were talking about it earlier. Everyone else has a border. It's kind of hard not to have a border.
Right.
Unless you're literally brand new or you make a Smurf.
Okay. And now, again, just to clarify, Smurf just basically means you have experience playing the game. You're just playing on a lower level account.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's all it is. But yeah, so that's just looking at the screen gives you a ton of experience or just information, like you said. It helps you. Sometimes it gives you more information if they have a different border on. There are borders that have like your rank that you got in a specific season. I have one when I was platinum.
Right. Okay.
I don't have the diamond one because it wasn't in that. It was one of the first seasons I was played, and they didn't put the diamond border up.
Okay.
But other than that, that's all I get from this one.
Anyways, onto the build. So, what are you building now?
Right now I'm building Mage's Blessing and Chronos Pendant.
Okay.
Just to kind of efficiently start building towards the Hades.
Okay.
And so with this one, I kind of do a dumb play, and I stay in this Hades ulti for way too long. Should have just beads, grabbed the red like I wanted to, and then got out, but I did not. However, the Mercury is on me, so I'm not mad at that, and I'm able to pick up a kill.
So because of that, they ended up bringing down his health a good amount, right? And that's why you were, it looks like you got him with an auto attack, or was it with a...
It was with AoE burning effect, which then killed him off.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty close to the Mercury actually getting the kill, which I wouldn't have been mad at anyways. Mercury is a late game god, so I'd have been perfectly fine with him getting the kill.
Right.
Alright, and then I noticed the rotation. Oh, I make a rotation over here. I kind of get some damage done on my tower in mid lane, but I figured helping out my carry lane was a little bit more important, and he doesn't get my tower anyways. This is an unfortunate play. So what ended up happening is I held my dash because I didn't see the dodgy, and so I hold my dash just a second too late, and she's able to just come in and burst me. So I'm about to jump, and before I can jump, the dodgy comes in and bursts me.
Right, okay.
And then this play, so a little backstory on this, you'll see that the Kukulkan is off on the left side instead of being in solo, and the tower is unfortunately taking some damage on a tier 2 10 minutes in. Not necessarily unheard of, but it's more so because the Kukulkan has basically given up on his lane. He's really mad at the jungler for not making certain rotations. Nothing too crazy. Their jungler hasn't really been messing with them. Their jungler has been pretty active. The big thing is he's just kind of being a baby about it. So their Nike is pretty over leveled compared to him. He's level 8, she's 11, so she's kind of able to do whatever she wants right now. And what she's gonna try and do is rotate mid and help the Hades out, which could end bad for me or her. We'll have to find out. Huh? She's taking a lot of damage. She doesn't seem to have ulti, or she would have popped it already. And I get the solo kill off of her ignorance, I guess. This one's important to note right here. So after I get this kill on this Nike, I clear mid wave once, and then I head left because I see my team, or my Afro is getting jumped. I see that the Cupid died. One thing I want to note though is I'm focused here.
So you're focused in the middle.
Yep, I'm focused on the 3 attacking my Afro. What I don't see is the Daji off to the left. It doesn't show a health bar. It's kind of blocked by everything else. And so that's going to be a big factor that comes up, is I shouldn't have made the play I made because I didn't notice what happened.
Right, and this actually speaks a lot to where not just your focus is, but also you need to pay attention to your peripheral. You need to have that situational awareness to know what's going on, not just in front of you, but also around you. So right here, you can tell that she is off to the left, hidden behind that black bar, and then hidden behind the text. So yeah, I can actually see where why your attention would be there. It's more or less what, it's a 3-on-1 fight right now, right?
Yep, and she's coming around to try and secure what it's a 3-on-1, but it's only showing a 2-on-1, I believe. Oh no, it is showing 3, my bad. You do see the Hades, you just don't see his head on the screen. But yeah, so, and she's going in to finish it off, but they don't really need it for the Hades. I'm glad she didn't notice me earlier. I am able, so the only good thing that came of that was I was able to do enough damage to them with that combo that I put out, where they don't feel like they can just take tower automatically.
Right.
So I do end up saving the tower just a little bit. The bad part is it's a problem. She does, and I mean, Daji's pretty strong right now. I don't think she's top tier by any means, but that was a pretty fast death.
Right, and that's really a quick that's a quick illustration of what can happen if your attention is just kind of swayed, even just a little bit.
Just a little, because I mean, I didn't stay too far past. It's not like this upcoming one where I have plenty of time to notice what's going on, but it is a pretty big indication.
Right, right, and here we're going to go ahead and see again how your lack of attention on certain things ends up affecting. So,
alright, so I do get the call. I get the call from Mercury.
Right, and that says enemies behind us. You turn around and boom, right there.
Yeah, and I mean, he knew the mid lane was gone. And I mean, it's just, it was unfortunate that I went for the wave instead of realizing I didn't have wards up, so I didn't know who was off to my right, and then I ignored the Mercury call out. Does the situation end up where I die? It's kind of undetermined. It's possible that I get away from the massive damage and am able to live, and he doesn't actually die of me. But it's also possible it's Hades. He still has quite a bit of damage and a ton of life steals. So this one is unfortunate as well. There's little mistakes right here that are just affecting my team, unfortunately. I once again don't see the Cupid. I don't see him next to me. I get he's on my mini-map, but because I'm focusing on this Hades, I don't see him off to my left. So I go to clear wave, and that's all I do. And I didn't realize that the Cupid had jumped in and started the fight. So with that being said, I have a possibility of saving the Cupid's life. Once again, is it definite that the Cupid doesn't die? No. But is it more likely that he doesn't die? Yes.
Right.
So it's just the little things. The only good thing here is I do not stay for another wave because I do see that ping from the Nike on the ward. So I luckily just back out.
Hmm.
Most of the time I'm pretty decent at being able to see my surroundings. These ones are more just specific, like unfortunate events that I don't necessarily am like paying attention for.
Right.
So, but at the same time, my team's doing pretty decent. I know we're behind on kills, but
Hmm.
as far as money, we're 100 off. So,
Right, and that was really the other thing that I was going to point out as well, or at least ask, is you don't necessarily you don't have to lose faith in your ability to actually win the game. As you said, you guys are 6 down in kills and about 100 off on gold. That doesn't necessarily mean that this game has been sealed. It's not going to be necessarily a clutch victory for the opposing team. You guys can still pull this off. So while you're playing this, and this is something that I've learned by playing this game as well, is I tend to beat myself up already in mid game when I see that they have us by anywhere between 8 and 10 kills, and then once we get to late game, I'm actually surprised that we're able to catch up as much.
right.
Sometimes, yeah, I lose those games. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes we end up winning those games. So don't let the KD necessarily be the determining factor for your victory in this game.
Oh no, exactly. I mean, there have been plenty of games where I have won with less kills than the enemy team. Um, it's all about how you finish.
Right.
The beginning of the game obviously helps, but I mean, to quote Fast and Furious, winning's winning.
Right. Right. Whether you win by an inch or a mile, a win's a win.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, it doesn't always have to be pretty as long as you win. A lot of the times with lower level games, such as like gold or silver and gold, and sometimes even platinum,
Hmm.
I mean, the teams don't necessarily know how to finish as a team,
Right.
and
Yep.
I mean that's a big thing to just keep in mind is if you and your team are keeping up past a death deficit and are able to just keep that gold under a manageable percent and you're keeping the levels, I mean you can win any game
Hmm.
because you're taking objectives just as well as we are as they are. If you actually look at it, our tower we have more towers than they do.
Right. Yep. They've already at this point lost two. No, one. Right.
They've lost 3, we've lost 2.
Have they lost? Oh, yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we took Gold Fury. So I mean, just taking that extra tower and Gold Fury is all just accumulating more money for us. So even though we're down on kills, we're even on levels for the most part. Like we're down a little bit, but their Shablanke is 2 levels below our Cupid.
Right.
So I mean, just based off of sheer numbers, we're pretty even other than kills and deaths. And that's just because they're more aggressive.
Right, and as we were speaking at the start of the round, the more gold that you actually have, the quicker that it is that you can go ahead and buy those late game high price items.
Exactly. So if they got too far ahead on their items,
Hmm.
that's when it would become scary for us. If it was, if they had 50,000 right now,
Hmm.
I'd be talking a little bit differently on this game.
Right,
Only because that's a lot more items in their bank than we have in ours.
right.
Because we're pretty even. I'm not worried. I'm actually feeling pretty decent. And even looking at my score, I know a lot of people would be like 4-3-1. That's not good.
Hmm.
I'm, but I mean, I'm in a position where I feel like I have enough gold where I'm in the position to help my team. I don't necessarily want to pop off.
Hmm.
This Cupid is doing, I think, most of the damage right now, and he's popping off pretty well. As I stated before, I'm pretty sure he's a Smurf, but at the same time, he could just be naturally good at the game.
Right.
I don't really know, but I don't necessarily want to make hero moves just to make myself look good.
Right.
That's not what it's about. It's about winning the game.
Right.
So, this one is pretty cool. She dies to the tick of my ability. It ends up following her into her ulti. It was just more her being out of place than anything. As soon as we kill her, it kind of diffuses the fight. You can see the Hades there kind of just retreats out.
Right. Yeah, and that was what I was going to ask. If that was a wise move for that their Hades to actually do, is retreat immediately there, since she ended up already dying on that launch.
Right, and it's I would say it's a good move on his end, because he's just gonna die. He might be able to get a kill, and you have to then ask yourself, is it worth that kill for my death? So it's 1 to 2 automatically. It's probably better for him to just cut his losses, and we obviously went for the Gold Fury. As you can tell, the white markers on our minions. If he wouldn't have stayed, we probably wouldn't have been able to secure it as easily.
Right.
This is a big play. We get Pyromancer. One thing my team does not do is have wards on the Fire Giant.
And now, wards really come into play mid to late game, right?
Yes, I would say more so than early game. The only thing is they can stop a gank from the jungle early. And that tends to set the tempo. Like you said, when you're down a couple kills, you get down on yourself. So if you can start the game off on a good tempo, you're already setting yourself up for success.
Right. Now, one of the things that you explained to me before is wards actually allow you to see who's coming up at that particular juncture. So if one of theirs kind of crosses the border of a ward, they pop up as a little circle on the map, and you're able to tell how far away someone is and how far you can go. So here, how far you can go into actually attacking the pyro.
Yep. So yeah, and it's really nice. It comes with the noise. So it automatically. So as long as your team isn't horrible and is just constantly pinging,
right,
you're going to be able to hear that and be like, okay, where on the map is that? Okay, it's a ward off in the carry lane. I don't necessarily have to worry, but I can let them know just in case they don't know.
Right.
And that's something that's always just nice to see. Is just when you're like, you see something and you state it once. You'll see a lot of the time people will, oh, retreat, 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 retreat. Cancel that, you rock. Like, once you get extenuous in it, it gets annoying and it gets overbearing and it's hard to focus.
Right, and I feel that you stop paying attention to it because it's just the way you're looking at it is just going to be nothing but spam. And, you know, the important messages aren't necessarily going to be carried. So, communication is actually really good in this game that I'm seeing. But at the same time, not necessarily over communication, but incorrect and improperly timed communication can also be bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like a car horn.
Right.
It can be very useful, but most people don't use it for the useful part.
Exactly. And then here, I'm actually noticing that your team is actually playing more as a team.
Oh yeah.
Than the opposing team. What I'm noticing a lot is the opposing team. They don't necessarily end up grouping up as much or as often as you guys actually do.
No, and I mean that kind of, like I said earlier, well, just right before this, Cerberus is off in left lane. Whether the team fight lost or not, the Cerberus had a chance to possibly steal fire. Stealing Fire Giant right now from us is huge, and probably worth the support's life. If it's possible, because what we'll end up doing with this Fire Giant in specific is end up pushing Phoenix and winning the game.
Right.
A little foreshadowing. I could have probably told you this without knowing what happened in the game. A 26-minute fire giant is big. The only one that would be bigger is like a 40-minute one, and that's only because of timing. Most games don't go over 50 minutes, and a fire giant that late is going to help win the game for one of the two teams.
Now, what you're saying now, 40-minute versus 20-minute versus the 25-minute. I'm sorry. What that means is once you defeat the fire giant, it gives you extra buffs above what it normally gives you, correct?
So the 25+ minute is the only one that gives extra buff. So after 25 minutes, it gives you extra damage, more damage than just base fire giant. And it also gives you more health regen, off of base.
Now, everybody on their team is still pretty much alive, but it seems to die almost at the same time.
Yep. So I mean, and
So
if you
2 down.
Yeah, we got 2 down. The Shibalonke and the Dodgy, which are huge. Dodgy's been messing me up the entire game. The fact that she died almost instantly is amazing. But the big thing right here is the Hades goes off before he can put his ultimate down. And that's a huge ulti for Hades. That's 5 people in his ulti with protections and lifesteal. That's going to be huge for him.
Right.
And he doesn't get any of it, which is amazing. We're able to take him down without losing that threat. And then we're able to... And, I mean, the Cupid does a stupid play just to show off. He doesn't need to do that. You know what they say? Act like you've been there before.
All right.
But, I mean, obviously, you're going to have people that want to show... But, yeah, so we do end up coming back. Maybe not from, like, a loss, but something that didn't necessarily look like it was favoring us as heavily.
Right.
And you do see that really quickly. The Cupid does have top damage. Cupid has top damage and top kills, which is to be expected. He played really well. And the Cocolin has top gold and top mitigated. Their team, the top damage went to Hades. He did do a lot of damage. The Dodgy wasn't necessarily doing a ton of damage. She was more of a burst, which makes sense why she got more kills. And I mean, usually more kills means more gold.
Right.
Especially for a team that isn't necessarily losing. You'll get more gold from that anyways. And then Cerberus makes sense on the top mitigated, mainly because the Nike AFK'd the last fight anyways.
Right.
It was probably pretty close throughout the whole game, and that just let him round it out to him being more.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and call it a video here. We'll go ahead and pick up his match number 2 next week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell. And we will go ahead and send you some notifications if you hit the bell.
Yep. And, I mean, if you like this kind of content, make sure to leave a
comment.
And we'll make sure to be putting out more stuff like this. I know Mike was excited about some Overwatch with ranked. So
he was. He is, and we're gonna end up bringing you more videos on Overwatch with Mook. And also, don't forget to hit our link tree right down below, and you can go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and all the other social medias.
Yep. And one last thing before we cut off, make sure you guys are sending us your videos.
Indeed.
So that we can get those out and going, because I'm really excited to start that as well.
Indeed. The more videos from the community that we can actually get, the better content that we're going to be able to bring you guys. It's really going to be a multitude of your videos that we can also go ahead and showcase on our channel.
Yep.
Thank you much, and we'll see you next time.
Time to break it out.